Hello students, in this video we are going to study about the transmission medium. In our previous video we have studied about the different topologies which were used, okay, and we have studied how the nodes arrangements are being done in order to transmit the data. Here we are going to study what kind of cables we are using, whether those are wired based or wireless based in order to transmit your data from source to the destination. Okay, so let us see the definition of communication channel. Communication channel or the transmission media is a path or the cable that connects the two different workstations or the nodes. Okay, the path, okay, or the link, which we have already seen, the link in the sense that is connecting path between the node and the hub, right? So that path is nothing but the communication channel. Now here our transmission medium is divided into two different categories. One is the wired based, which is also called as guided media, and the other one is the wireless, which is also called as an unguided media. So under the wired based we are studying the three different cables, that is twisted pair, coaxial cable and the optical fibers. Under wireless we are studying about the radio waves, microwaves and the infrared waves. So let us discuss about the first cable, that is a twisted pair cable. Now this is the twisted pair cable, which is most commonly found in the data communication applications. Okay, now this kind of a cable, I hope these kinds of wires you have already seen in your home appliances, also electrical appliances near your electricity, like tube lights connection, where you can see these okay, there you have seen these kinds of cable. That is nothing but the twisted pair cable. Now in this twisted pair cable we have two different categories, that is unshielded twisted pair and the shielded twisted pair. Difference between these two I'll discuss later, but whether any of these type, always these twisted pair cables comes in pairs. Can you see these have come in pairs and they're always wrapped with each other. Okay, and here among the whether it is a shielded twisted pair or unshielded twisted pair, we are getting in that only two different categories. One is voice grade medium shielded twisted pair, the other one is the data grade medium twisted pair. If at all my cable is the voice grade medium, means it supports for only for the voice communication. It doesn't support for any kind of data transmission. Data transmission means it doesn't support any kind of internet transmission. Okay, only voice signal it will recognize and it will be capable of carrying only your voice signals. Okay, data grade medium means it is having the capability of carrying your data signals. That means internet connection. It has a capability of having an internet connection. Okay, let us I'll just show this one table. Here you can see the different category. If at all, if it is a category 1 type, it provides only for the voice grade medium and there is no data transmission, and it was hardly of only about 1 megabits per second, which wouldn't support for the internet transmission at all. Okay. Now this voice grade kind of twisted pair cable is extensively used in the telephone industry. Now if we have a landline telephones, if we are having the cable, you have seen, I think, very thick black in color, which has been very thick, like a spiral winding it would be. It is actually twisted pair cable which is wrapped in a double helix. Such kind of cable I can say it is as a twisted pair cable, and it is supporting only for the voice transmission, and it has been extensively used in the telephone office. Whereas in the data grade medium, in the sense which we are using in our computer lab, you have seen that some this kind of a cable, this kind of a cable, somewhere in the gray color, somewhere in red, somewhere in blue in color, right? So that is nothing but the unshielded twisted pair cable what we were using, and that's supporting for the LAN connection. Okay, now let us see the advantages. First one is it is very much simple and it is physically flexible. That means you need not to maintain your cables anywhere. You need not to acquire any land to maintain. You can turn and you can twist, you can roll your cable. Okay, it is very much immune to the it is very much flexible. It will not get broken easily. Okay, and it can be easily implemented, installed, no maintenance, and it is very lightweight and it is very inexpensive. Then next we are going to see about what are the disadvantages of the twisted pair. The first and foremost disadvantage is that we are unable to use it for the broadband application. Broadband application means internet. We cannot use it for the internet connections if it is the category 1. Why we cannot use it? Because of the broadband, very low broadband capacity it is having. That means, what is broadband means? The amount of the data transfer, okay, the amount of the data transfer from one point to the another point in a certain period of time, or the capacity of the data that you can send from one point to the another at a given period of time. That is nothing but, that capacity is nothing but is the broadband capacity, and it is usually measured in terms of bits per second. What you say is 1024 bits makes 1 kilobits per second, 1024 kilobits makes 1 megabits per second, okay, like this. In terms of kilobits, megabits per second, gigabits per second, terabits per second. That means, how you are telling it is because of the amount of the data at this point you are able to carry. That is nothing but the bandwidth. So here we are having very less bandwidth when it is a twisted pair cable. That is why it is not preferable for the broadband application when we had only category 1. But later, as we moved on, we had also category 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So as we are getting into the new category, now we are using the twisted pair. In our computer lab for the LAN application, internet application, we are using twisted pair. But earlier it was not. So it has been considered one of the disadvantage. Okay. Next one is because of high attenuation, it is incapable of carrying the signal over the long distance without the use of repeaters. Now, what exactly this attenuation? Attenuation, in the sense, it is the reduction in your signal strength. Okay, the process of reduction in your signal strength is nothing but the attenuation. So this this we have studied in the bus topology. As your data packets move along the length of your transmission cable, if you are enhancing the capacity of your network, that means your data packet has to move the long distance. As it is moving, the signal strength will get weakened. That is the reason you have to use the repeater, right? So the process of getting that signal strength weaken is nothing but attenuation. Here, by using the twisted pair cable, you cannot send the data packets over the long distance. If at all it will start reducing, you have to must and should make use of the repeaters in order to regenerate the signals. Next, the third one is, it supports maximum data rates up to only of 1 megabits per second without condition and 10 megabits per second with conditioning. In the sense, 1 megabits per second, it provides you the speed without using the repeaters. Okay, if at all if you are using repeaters, hardly you can achieve up to data rates up to 10 megabits per second. But now, as we have moved on, we have category 4. Okay, you can see here this table again. It's category 2, only hardly 4 megabits per second. This is obviously using the repeaters. And then category 3 of 10 mega. But now we are using category 4 of 16 megabits per second. Category 5, 1000 megabits per second. We also have category 6, and category 7 is the latest one, which is almost providing about data speed up to 10 gigabits per second. Okay, and each segment, maximum segment length is of 100 meters. Segment in the sense, what? The length of the cable. Okay, each twisted pair cable length can be maximum size only of 100 meters. Apart from that, again you want to increase the length of your cable, means you have to connect 2 different cables and then you can increase your segment. That is means each single segment of length hardly would be of only about 100 meters. Now let us discuss the different types, that is the shielded and the unshielded twisted pair. Unshielded twisted pair is commonly used in your electronic appliances. Okay, like home appliances and all. Whereas the shielded twisted pair, it has been comes with the shielding of individual pairs of wires. You can see here, this individual wire is being shielded with this foil, this insulating sheet it is also called as. This pair of wires, it has been having a separate shielding foil. Here we are having this also, it is having a separate one. This is also having a separate insulating sheath foil it is having, right? Okay, why we are providing this insulating sheet? Because it protects us from the external interference. Okay, now what exactly this interference? It's a kind of a disturbance. It has been generated by the external source, okay, that affects an electrical circuit, which may degrade the performance of your signal. That means external source. I'll just give an example here what exactly I mean by external source here. Suppose if you are transmitting the data through the twisted pair cable in the harsh industrial environments, that means harsh environments where it is continuously generating its sound signals. So if your cable is passing through such kinds of environment, it is possible that the sounds which has been generated by the external environment may sound signal come and club with your data signal which you are passing through the twisted pair cable. It may come and club with your signal and make it as an unwanted signal, or it may sometimes stop functioning of your data signal. Then such kind of disturbance, I can call it as the interference, the disturbance which has been caused by the external source. That kind of disturbance, I can call it as an interference. Okay, then next we are going to move. That is, this shielded twisted pair can have the maximum length of again 100 meters, and it is more costlier comparatively to the unshielded twisted pair because it is having protection. It is providing a protection from the interference for me, and then it is heavier and it is costlier comparatively to the unshielded twisted pair. Now this is all and one more thing is, it also provides you the protection from the crosstalk also. Apart from this interference, crosstalk. Now what exactly this crosstalk? Crosstalk is nothing but whenever two different cables are sending its data signals, but they are being very closely placed. Both are the adjacent wires. Now think that this is one twisted pair cable and this is also one more twisted pair cable. You are sending the data signals through this cable. At the same time, by using this cable, there is also a flow of data signals are flowing through this cable. So there is a possibility that the signals of this cable may slowly migrate and they may club into this cable and make your signals again the unwanted ones. Okay, such kinds of disturbance which are being generated by the adjacent pairs of wires, I can say that as a crosstalk. Any disturbance that has been caused by an external source is nothing but the interference. One more terminology will come, that is the noise. Okay, noise is nothing but it is an unwanted disturbance in an electrical signals which is being generated by the electronic device itself. Then I can say it as a noise. Think that by through any circuit you are sending your data signals. Okay, that device, if it is a faulty one, if it is generating any noise, any sound from that electronic device, then such kind of noise I can say it as such kind of sound I can say it as a noise. Very important to understand what is interference, crosstalk and noise. Disturbance generated by external source is the interference disturbance that has been generated by the adjacent wire, which may club into where the sound signals may come and club into your signals, making it as an unwanted. That is nothing but the crosstalk. And the signals where the signals are being, sound signals are generated from the electronic device itself through which you are transmitting the data, then such kind of disturbance I can say it as a noise. So shielded twisted pair is very much immune to all these three kinds of disturbance. That is why it is costlier and it is more reliable comparatively to the unshielded twisted pair cable. Here the next cable we are going to discuss about is the coaxial cable. This coaxial cable, as you can see here, let me explain with this diagram first, then you can clearly understand. Yeah, this coaxial cable has a central core conductor of solid which is made up of the copper wire. This is a central core conductor which is made up of the copper wire, okay, which is enclosed in an insulating sheath. Now this is an insulating sheath, what you have seen in the unshielded twisted pair. More harder to that, we are having the heavier insulating sheath, okay, which in turn encased in an outer conductor of metal foil. Now this is an extra insulating mesh, copper mesh we are having. Now this copper wire, solid copper wire, this insulating sheath is again in turn covered by this copper mesh. Again, this entire thing has been in turn encapsulated in a metal foil. Okay, wherein you can see in this, yeah. Yes, it is made up of central core conductor of solid, which is enclosed in an insulating sheath. Now this is an insulating sheath, which in turn it is encased in an outer conductor of metal foil. Now this is outer conductor of metal foil. Okay, this outer metallic wrapping provides the protection against the noise. We have said noise is nothing but the disturbance which is being generated by the generated in electrical signal by the electronic device itself. Then that kind of disturbance I can say it as a noise. So this one complete entire metal foil, it provides a protection against the noise, which is again in turn protected by the plastic cover. Can you see here? This thick copper wire has been passing through this plastic cover. Now this kind of cable is extensively used in the MAN and WAN. MAN, that is Metropolitan Area Network. Now this kind of cable itself is used in the television network, that is Metropolitan Area Network, okay, which may have the capacity to span the entire city. If this kind of a cable has the capacity to span the entire city, means obviously the length of the cable also will be quite higher than comparatively to the twisted pair, which was having hardly about 100 meters. Now this is about 185 meters, or it also might be up to a maximum length is 500 meters also. Okay, now this kind of cable is also extensively used in the wide area network for the internet connections, because it can carry the data of high frequency. That means its bandwidth capability is more. If the bandwidth capability is more, means obviously the data transmission speed will be high. The more the capacity, the data you can carry, obviously the faster the data speed, right? That's why it is mostly used in the broadband connection also. Now let us see the two different types of coaxial cable. No, see, in this kind only, I don't have any diagram of that. So two different types of cables in this is thick net and the thin net. Thick net is a cable which is providing up to maximum length of 500 meters long. That means 500 meters long, and simultaneously it can send the multiple signals at the same time. Okay, whereas the one more form of this coaxial cable is a thin net, which is about 185 meters long, hardly only 185 meters, wherein the data transmission through that is only single signal can transmit from one signal to the another. At one point of time, only one signal. Whereas thick net, it can travel multiple times, multiple signal at the same time only it can travel. Now this one, higher bandwidth up to 400 megabits per second data transmission can be done by using the coaxial cable, where in case of twisted pair hardly about 10 megabits per second, and later the higher version was in gigabits per second, category 7, that is irrespective. Initially itself it's 400 megabits per second, and it is more costlier comparatively to the twisted pair, right? And it is maintenance is needed for this. It is not that much, it is flexible, but not comparatively to the twisted pair. Fine, maintenance is needed here in this case. Okay, so this completes your twisted pair and the coaxial cable. In our next video, we shall study about the optical fibers. Thank you.